doesn't matter what part of the entertainment industry we're talking about, whether it's movies, video games, comic books, or TV. If you let identity politics come ahead of entertainment, you will eventually fail. And that's what we saw with the CW, and specifically the Arrowverse. Even though when it started off with Arrow and Flash, there was millions and millions of people tuning in, and a big fan base started to accumulate around these shows, it eventually fell off because the focus was no longer on entertaining people, and instead, it was about woke identity politics and virtue signaling. And now, even the creator himself is admitting, after all this time, after all these years, that it was a massive waste of time. Arrowverse creator regretful over DC shows, I really wasted my time. And it's no coincidence that really the downfall of this entire universe, the failure of all these series out there, can be traced directly back to a time period for the CW when this was their messaging. The CW puts diversity at the center of its new fall marketing campaign. The CW touts that nearly 2/3 of its showrunners, executive producers, writers, directors are women or people of color. And that wasn't enough. This was their strategy. They let everybody know this was going to be their focus. And it definitely came across in the entertainment itself, and people walked away. Shows that were once averaging millions and millions and millions of people watching on the CW started to fall off. You started to have these projects that seemed like that was the sole focus, was to talk about someone's skin color or sexuality. Things like Batgirl, things like Naomi, all of these different garbage products that came out of the CW and specifically out of the Arrowverse. And now Mark Guggenheim himself is saying, I thought that this is gonna, do great things for my career, but no, it was a big waste of time. With the Arrowverse coming to a close, the creator behind it has revealed, in some respects, his time behind the wheel has felt like a waste of time. The Arrowverse was once a thriving, interconnected on-screen universe with story threads interweaving between multiple shows: Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, and Batwoman. Sadly, however, its days are coming to a close. The signs were there long before it was official. Supergirl ended early with its 6th season and was followed by the cancellation of 2 other long-running DC comic shows on the CW. Yeah, because all of these shows started to be all about preaching to people. Every episode of Supergirl was like, oh, let's talk about some trans thing. Let's talk about some immigration thing. Let's talk about all these identity politics laden stories instead of giving people what they wanted, and the audience walked away. In a new blog post on his personal site, Arrowverse creator Mark Guggenheim got candid about how he can't help but feel he wasted his time working on the CW's many superhero shows. The piece starts with Guggenheim sharing how back with the CW's big crossover event, Crisis on Infinite Earths, was being made, a friend of his claimed that his phone was going to ring off the hook. That's not exactly what happened. It didn't really boost his career. In fact, at the end of the day, all he has is all these projects that ended up failing at the end of the day, that really just dropped in ratings, never made any money. The CW, in its history, never made a dime. It was always operating at a loss. He talked about how when he tried to make Crisis on Infinite Earths, he called in every favor he could. He even spent his own money to make it happen. And at the end of the day, it didn't matter. He clarifies intention. He said not to belittle Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that he's deeply grateful with the response from fans. And then there was some stuff which basically boiled down to me lamenting that although working for DC has been creatively fulfilling, it involved a lot of adversities, challenges, personal sacrifices, none of it which seemed to have accrued any professional benefit. Simply put, the Arrowverse hasn't led to any other gigs, so it feels on a career level that I really waste my time. This should be a warning to everyone out there, to all these creatives out there that think that placing identity politics ahead of entertainment will lead to anything. It won't. People don't want to watch it. People don't want to support it. And eventually it will fail. Just like we saw, even with these shows that had a great start, ended up failing in the long run when CW decided that was going to be their messaging. That was going to be their marketing. This was going to be the audience they pandered to. At the end of the day, it was a massive, catastrophic failure that resulted in the CW being sold. Every show, even if they kept going with dwindling numbers, was eventually canceled. And now the creator himself's been like, I thought this was going to lead to so many things professionally for me, and it didn't. It was a waste of time. Well, that's how a lot of people felt watching it as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.